Hello there, people of the internet, I'm Curse Blake, and today I'm going to be talking about Black Geyser, Couriers of Darkness. So in this video, I'm going to go through my first impressions of the game, and go through whether I think that you should play it today. So the first thing that I noticed jumping into this game was how much it was similar to Baldur's Gate. And that kind of filled me with joy because Baldur's Gate is definitely one of the best games ever made. And this game obviously takes a huge inspiration from that genre of games that came out in the late 90s, which was really the pinnacle of kind of D&D style based games. If you've ever wanted a modern reimagining of Baldur's Gate, this is probably as close as you're gonna get. I've played a lot of the other CRPGs that have been inspired by Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. They've never really hit the same mark or felt the same. What I really loved about this game was that it doesn't have an established setting like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale being set in Forgotten Realms. They've come up with a completely new story, and I think it's really good from what I've played so far. The world feels really immersive, and I really like how I kind of don't know a ton about it. With Forgotten Realms in Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, I kind of knew a lot about the setting just from being a nerd. And I think that's what's really refreshing about this, is that it feels new, it feels exciting because I don't know what's going to happen. So the first thing that I saw jumping into Black Geyser was just how pretty it was. This game is absolutely gorgeous looking, and I actually went back and played a little bit of Baldur's Gate 2 after playing this and was like, how the hell did we play it like this? This one looks absolutely fantastic, and I know that it's hard to compare it to something that's 22 years old, but it looks really good, and I think that's a huge draw card for me. The story is cliched, but I'm really enjoying it. It kind of is a bit muddy to start off with, and I felt like I kind of didn't really know where it was going, but after a couple of hours in, I think that it's really improved, and it's something that's hooked me pretty well. The one thing that I will say is this doesn't feel like the experience that I remember from Baldur's Gate. I remember playing Baldur's Gate and being like, oh, my level 1 character is absolutely terrible. This game doesn't feel like that. It kind of feels like you're a little bit more overpowered. I feel like more kind of like level 3 to 4 from Baldur's Gate to start off with. And maybe that's just because I picked the classes I picked, but it just feels like my character is pretty powerful and I didn't die instantly. Except when I decided to attack people I wasn't meant to. Oh my god, we just killed another maid. Oh, they give a shit. No. Okay, keep running. I wonder if we can oh no, that's the wrong way. Oh no. There we go. Protagonist died. That was quick. How long did that take? So I think that that's really nice. I mean, I'm playing it on the classic difficulties. I could ratchet up the difficulty and it might be significantly harder and give you that sort of more Baldur's Gate grindy, painful experience that the first couple of levels are, but it's not something I really want to do at the moment. Maybe I'll go back and revisit that at some point, but I love the difficulty. Just when the difficulty feels like a good balance between difficult and being able to enjoy the story, I think that's always a nice medium. So when I first built a character in this game, it took me around about an hour to build one. I'm incredibly bad at building characters in games. I normally mess around for way too long. The game really pushes you in the right direction and tells you where you should be going right off the bat. I don't really know what the stats all mean just yet, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I definitely just didn't look into it. I was more interested in what my character sounded like than the stats, but that's in general what I do. I kind of care more about the aesthetics of the character rather than how good they are. I just let the game allocate the points where it told me to, so it was really easy to do it that way, and I felt like my character would be pretty balanced rather than just being max min to hell and totally crap. The combat feels classic yet modern. It kind of brings all the enjoyable features that you had in games like Baldur's Gate and melds them with kind of a newish system that feels really intuitive, and I never really felt myself getting blocked by the gameplay. In some of those older games, you just kind of got smashed by having to learn so much, especially if you picked a spellcaster class like I did, and this kind of didn't really feel that. The game kind of felt like it got out of the way. Admittedly, it is clunky in some spots. I ended up like attacking my own party a couple of times just completely by accident. I don't know if that's because I'm a sadist or because, you know, just the way the system works. But apart from that, I really enjoyed the combat, and pretty much every interaction I've had with this game, combat-wise, has been an absolute joy. I haven't really been in any sort of combats where I've been like, oh, my character's going to get killed, or I felt like the combat was too hard or anything, but I haven't really gone into any sort of major boss fights or anything like that just yet, so I feel like I need to make a more reasoned decision playing more of the game. I am going to put out a bigger video later on, so if you guys want to see that, remember to subscribe and like the video if you want to see more of me talking about this game. This game is semi-voice acted, and I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm really happy with the voice acting so far.
So, you were not even paid in coin to turn traitor against your own house. Only pretty words. Kill me if you wish.
I feel like it's kind of a bit hit and miss. Some of the characters I really like, and some of them are absolute garbage. I feel like some of the characters tend to be quite wooden, whereas some of them tend to be incredibly energetic.
Hold still, father.
So, you know, you get the really, oh, they're gonna kill me now, and then there's the like, I'm going to kill you sort of dude. You get some really intense differences, even in the same scene. So I think that is a big detractor really for me. It kind of draws me out of the action a bit because I almost ended up laughing at some of the characters just because of how stupid they sounded.
Don't worry, my child. Your hardships are over for today.
The other thing too is I feel like they've made some really weird choices with the voice acting here. They've kind of voiced half of the like dialogue for some characters, especially in one of the like tutorial scenes where you're with a crone in a hut. It's every second or third paragraph that's actually voiced. And I find that really weird because for starters, I clicked through a couple of them because I could read normally faster than these. But it just kind of breaks it a little bit. I think that if you're going to do this, you should either fully voice the character or not fully voice them. Like, I'm totally fine with you just having walls of text. That's totally fine. I don't hate that as a concept. But if you're going to voice some characters, at least do the persona thing where they don't fully voice act every line. It's kind of just one thing. It's not necessarily always in there, but it's there. That's kind of my biggest gripe, but also I don't hate it enough to be like, no, don't play this game because the voice acting's, you know, janky. I think that you can ignore it. And I think really it's only the first scene that's kind of janky. The rest of the voice acting has been really good. I think the characters in general are well voice acted. I love the voices for your character. My personal favorite is the really like derpy sounding dwarf that I have, which sounds absolutely fantastic. I love it. One thing I really like is how decent your characters are to start off with. I already have a couple of magical weapons with my characters, and I'm only really 5 to 10 hours through the game, and I really like being able to have cool magical weapons because it feels like as we go further and further through the game, we're going to get really cool stuff. So that's always a huge plus for me, and I hate just having, you know, the generic, you have a +1 sword. Everything seems to be unique. And I think that that's a big takeaway from 2nd edition AD&D, which was in Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. I think everything kind of was like, hey, this is a +1 sword, this is a +1 bullet, this is +1 arrows, you know. I don't want that shit. I want things to be named. I want it to be a little bit more inventive. I want, you know, bullets of extreme destruction or arrows of biting. You know, that's where I like these things because that's what you want. I kind of really love this game, and I think that just everything coupled together is super fun. So with all that said, do I think that you should play this? If you've played some of the older games, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Neverwinter Nights, this game is a no-brainer. Yeah, you won't get hit by that like D&D nostalgia and, you know, number crunching, min-maxing bullshit that you get from those games. But I think that that is honestly a good thing. This game kind of feels like it gets out of the way and you can have a really enjoyable experience playing it. That's been my first impressions of Black Geyser. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you could give me a big thumbs up and even a subscribe if you want to see more of me, because I do all sorts of things over here. I make gameplay videos, I live stream, I make shitloads of shorts, and yeah, you can catch some of those things just here. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye. My friends and I are collecting a small fee for everyone entering the city. A pittance, really. 50 gold pieces. I like this one. Piss off. Twigs like you are easily broken.